everybody? Welcome to the Entities Campfire here. Angels on the Killer versus Narvo, Luis Mariana, and 50 Shades of Pablo. This is Tremor on the Killer here. Losers bracket coming in. The finals of the losers bracket, if I am not mistaken. First chase coming in onto Luis here. Going to be taking Chase over to the 9 pallet here. Amazing first chase as well. However, it looks like he is going to be taking a tag. Thought that Angels was probably going to be faking an uncloak. However, Angels, undeterred by it, now has to play a very strong or a very weak pallet. However, is actually going to whiff. And now he's going to make his way back over to the 11 corner of the map. He's going to try to force the locker, but unfortunately is not going to quite make it. Point teching to make the down a little bit slower for our killer here, and that will be a down over on the 11 side of the map. Another hook, that'll be pain res, and that'll be a down as well, or a hook, sorry, on the 11 side of the map. We're heading over to the middle area, the main building, and we are hearing a little bit of progress on the main building as well. So gen pressure, regardless, despite the chase maybe not lasting as long as you would want it to, is definitely being followed up. So not a terrible start for our survivors here. Gonna be going over to the main building. However, Angels is not interested in chasing that. We have a hook over at 11 that we don't want to let go just yet. We are seeing Nervo getting an amazing stun, a needed stun on Angels there in the cloak, making Angels a lot slower coming out of that uncloak. We do suspect something. It looks like Angels actually did lose a Nervo there for a second. Doesn't quite understand where he went, but we are seeing him now. So that's good. And it looks like it will be a trade on hook here. Nervo just kind of delay the tag as much as possible. It will be a tag, and the trade is going to come through as well. Trade happening just before second state. So our survivor team will not hate that. It's going to be another pain red hook, however. So Angels will also not hate taking that. That'll probably hit main. Although it could have hit another gen as well with how good their generator pressure has been in these tournaments. You never know. Could have hit another gen other than main. And we could be seeing another gen pop relatively quickly. In fact, we should be seeing another gen pop relatively quickly. Luis taking Chase over by the water tower here, vaulting the window, trying to prolong Chase as much as possible. Gonna try to fake the window, and Angel's falling for it. Unfortunately, hook, line, and sinker like a fish out of water. Not gonna quite get the down here. Angels gonna now finally get the down onto Luis. However, that was a relatively decent chase for what Luis had to work with. You know, didn't have the 9 pallet, didn't have the 11 side of the map to use, only had the water tower to be able to run to, and used it very efficiently. However, he will be going back on the hook. Deadman switch, showing us where the most progressed generator is. Going to be heading over to it. Main building will, however, pop. No, it's not the most progressed generator. I may be forgetting how this perk works for a second here. I haven't seen it in a long time, so please forgive me. However, we are heading back over to the shack, as an unhook did happen onto Nervo. Nervo, however, did get reset, so we don't have to worry about any sort of insta-downs from our killer here. And the survivors going to be looking to regain some of the pressure that they may have lost here. This generator is progressed a little bit, so unfortunately they will not be able to work it while Luis is on this hook, and we are going to be camping this to death most likely. We do see Nervo here. Nervo going to be going over to the shack. It's not unfortunately going to make that before getting tagged, and that is going to be a tag for Nervo. Very close, but unfortunately no cigar. Just barely by the skin of his teeth did Angels manage to hit that. We suspect someone else is here. I believe maybe we thought we saw somebody, but I don't think we did, so we're going to be breaking the water tower, just making this area a little bit harder to loop for our survivors. And just drying out the map as much as possible. We don't want Luis to die here. However, body block's going to be coming in. It looks like 50 Shades of Pablo's going to be taking a tag, and Luis is just going to die. That is very unfortunate. Taking Chase over to the shack side of the map here. Vaulting into the window. We do still have shack pallet to use. We are going to be watching for our killer here, waiting to drop the pallet before the Wraith is out of uncloak, or at least almost there. And that will be a shack drop, and 50 Shades of Pablo will live. 12 was so desperately close to popping. However, Mariana going to get caught off. They're going to be taking a tag as well, dropping the pallet, heading over to the main building. And Angels just wants to kick the generator. We do suspect someone else to maybe be here. No, in fact, we are just looping around just in case, but we don't see anybody breaking the pallet and heading over to the main building. All survivors are injured, and this is not exactly what you want to see against the Wraith, unfortunately, and that will mean that 50 Shades of Pablo will probably be going down very soon. A body block to this pallet will mean that Pablo is not able to make this pallet. However, he will just jiggy over to this generator that is highly progressed. So unfortunately, that will no longer be able to be progressed. The Nervo now we're going to be taking chase over to the 7th side of the map, vaulting the window, heading over to the water tower. But there's nothing here to use. It looks like Nervo will just be going down, but using the window very efficiently here. Not going to go down just yet, but it looks like that's all she wrote for Nervo. A grab coming through as well, saving a bit of time for our killer here, which means that our generator might not pop for this. 12 was pretty close. You have to assume Mariana might be back on that. So their generator pressure is lacking a little bit here. We are scared of it popping. Dead Man's Switch going to be proccing onto that as well. And there is Pablo. We know relatively where Mariana might be because we assume that Mariana might have been working on the 12 side of the map here. And this is Pablo going to be taking chase over to the main building, body blocking this pallet very efficiently. We want a quick down onto Pablo. However, we do see Mariana trying to come in for the unhook, and it is unfortunately just going to be a trade for Angels. However, this will mean that the generator pressure that they have is just not good enough. And it looks like we're going to be wanting... No, it's not. We're not going to be just trading. In fact, we do see Nervo. Nervo was coming in here for a flashlight save, wanting to regain some of the pressure that our Survivor team has lost. However, Angels was wise to it and it's not going to allow it to happen. Picking up Mariana here. This will be the first hook for Mariana for another Pain Resonance. Another gen will not be popping. This generator or this Pain Res will probably hit 12. And we are heading straight over there as we suspect that our survivors are there. And there is confirmation that there were definitely survivors around here. The sparks are no longer flying. Survivors of Silence need to be very meticulous about how they're going to play this. They need a full reset if they want to regain any of their lost pressure. And Angels knows this, so Angels is going to be looking for a reset and does actually find it, meaning that one survivor will be taking another injury very soon. However, Nervo playing this pallet very well, dropping it down, and now we're heading over to Pablo as we do not want anything more to do with that. Pablo only has this back main filler pallet to use. However, if Pablo plays it correctly, will not be taking a tag. However, he does, unfortunately, the Wraith movement speed after coming out of Uncloak, unfortunately, meaning that Pablo will be taking a tag. We are hearing Pablo inside of main, and perhaps we want to go catch that off guard. However, no, we actually want to stop this generator from possibly popping. Dead Man's Switch coming through again. I am very confused as to how this perk actually works. I might be wrong as to whether it's Dead Man's Switch or not. It's been a long time since I've seen a perk like that in Comp DBD, so... Wraith, obviously one of the weaker killers, going to be allowed a lot stronger stuff than the other more stronger killers, you know, the more tier 3, tier 2, tier 1 killers, you know, going to be allowed. Mariana taking chase over at the water tower, going to be trying to catch Angels off guard and just heading to the corner of the map. That was just to buy a little bit more time, however, just straight back onto the ground, and that will be another hook. That generator over at 12 is still blocked, so the Survivors of Silence still, again, no generator pressure to speak of. Mariana going to die with 3 generators remaining. However, 12 will pop. Thankfully, they got unblocked just in time for Nervo to actually pop it. Checking around, we know a survivor was here. And there he is, stealthing around, perhaps hoping Angels would not bother to look over here anymore. However, Angels knew that he had to be still here, considering he saw nobody leaving the area, heading over to the main building, vaulting through the window, meaning no tag will happen just yet, and going, again, to the other side of the main building. But Angels perfectly blocking the main building window. And that means Nervo will be going down. We'll be taking the hook just in the front of main here. And now Pablo on the ground. Bleed outs do matter in the Entity's Campfire. And Pablo is a full fresh. So, if Pablo can successfully evade angels while on the ground, that'll mean significantly less stages for Tremor. It is up to angels to find Pablo, but Pablo is right now in the middle of what looks to be 5? I believe this is 5. Yeah, 5. I believe this tile can spawn anywhere between 5 and 7, so I'm just using kind of like the background to figure it out, but I believe this is 5. And we will unfortunately find Pablo, and that will be a memento mori for your entertainment. With a little bit of behavior bug as well. So, hope you all enjoyed the first round of our Wraith set. We will be back after a short break with Silence playing the Wraith. Stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here. Silence on the killer this time. Nervo on the Wraith versus the survivors of Team Tremor. Slow vaulting into the shack, obviously, to waste the Wraith's time. This is going to be a very, very, very tough win condition for Nervo, as he has to 4K with 4 generators remaining if he wants to have a chance at winning this set. However, a 4K3 will mean a tie. So that is the minimum requirement for Nervo, which is not a tall order, which is a tall order on the Wraith. Wraith is not one of those killers that 4Ks very commonly. Well, he can 4K commonly. It just really depends on how well the survivors play and how well the killer plays. Chase taking over to the water tower, dropping it immediately, preventing a tag. Angels playing this very, very meticulously. We are wasting not whatnot. And we are seeing Patrol here taking Chase onto the 5 side of the map, playing the TNLs very efficiently. Has to check spot this correctly, and Will, looks like, as he will vault the window, but loses the 50-50. And that means a tag onto Patrol, heading over to the shack, as that is the area of the map where we probably want to be dying here, heading over to the shack as well, waiting for the Wraith to uncloak, then dropping the shack pallet to waste as much time for our team here, going over to the 11th side of the map. Gallows was progressed. Gallows actually had quite a bit of progress here, and he will actually make the vault over the pallet here. Beautifully played from Patrol here, going over to another tent loop, what I like to call them. Looping it quite efficiently here, has to win that mind game and does not fall for it. Dropping the pallet here, vaulting over the rock, or sorry, running through the rock here, not vaulting over the pallet, and that will mean he will lose the 50 and will go down on the ground. First generator will pop, however, so already the tie condition is at stake here. Survivors of Tremor have already beaten, or are already on track for beating the result of Silence. Deadman switch on that generator over there, meaning that the generator with the most progress, I actually did get reinformed of what Deadman Switch did by our lovely ref in the background, Draxy, so thank you, Draxy, of what Deadman Switch does, because it's been a while since I played that perk. When you, I believe, get a hook, the first person to get off of a generator is the gen that gets blocked, so not necessarily the generator with the most progress here. However, we are seeing so much generator progress on a lot of different generators here. We do have to be careful if you're Nervo, because if we don't get it down very, very quickly, Eruption will help with this, but it needs to be now. Then that means another generator will pop, and already the set will go to Tremor. Vaulting into the main building, head over to the top of main building here. Main, a very, very strong loop for our survivors here. Going over to the back of main, actually, understanding that we probably wouldn't be able to make the window of main, and that is already the set win for Team Tremor. Pre-dropping the pallet on the same side as the Wraith while he's uncloaking to maybe play the pallet and make it harder for Nervo. However, it will not work out for Note, as he will be going on the ground. A pain resonance hook needed, but this is not it. Deadman Switch going to be proccing on the 11 generator, it looks like. Heading over to the water tower generator now. We do see a survivor here in Patrol. So the injured survivors probably playing a bit stealthily here. Probably just making sure they aren't caught off guard. No, in fact, they are working a generator. There's Angels. And you can see why as well. 5 was very, very close to popping here, but Nervo, understanding that, wants to be able to circumvent any sort of generator progression as far as they have it now. So probably used a bit of game sense to understand that even the injured survivors here would probably just be working through generators, and he was correct in assuming so. However, that will mean Note and Jaw will get fully reset. Angels taking his first hook. No pain resonance. Again, his pain resonance hooks, you have to imagine, are just really bad for him. I mean, they're not anywhere on the sides of the map that he wants to be on. Unfortunately, as we are seeing Jaw here vaulting into the loving arms of the killer, maybe perchance to get the attention of the killer. Faking the window will not, unfortunately, work, as Ja will be taking a tag here, heading over to the Shack. Beautiful tag from Nervo, will get the unhook on Angels for it, however, playing the strongest tile in the game. The strongest palette in the game. Absolutely nothing wrong with that palette whatsoever. It's completely fair, completely survivor-sided. That palette is absolutely strong. Killers hate it. Survivors love it. As the final generator pops, and Angels will be the next chase here at this TNL wall. Playing it very well. Will not take a tag. Angels, unfortunately, going to just elude Nervo. Time and time again, Angels has actually done this very well, trying to win a 50-50 and unfortunately loses it. And that means Nervo will be going down on the ground. A flashbang save coming in from, you have to assume, Patrol here. Beautifully played. As we will see Angels here. Angels playing the back of main palette. Ja actually wants to die for Angels here, I believe, because Angels is a fresh hook. No, Angels is not a fresh hook. Angels has been hooked already, so I'm interested to understand why it is that Ja actually wants to die for Angels so badly. Perhaps there is something up their sleeve that we are not noticing. Perhaps it is that Ja is actually dead on hook. But Ja will be picked up here, breaking the door. Perhaps we got suctioned a little bit there. Can happen. The same interaction for picking up survivors is very commonly the same interaction for breaking pallets, breaking generators, breaking doors. So, not an uncommon thing to see. Taking our hook at the back of main here. And now we are ostensibly playing with absolutely no perks whatsoever, because all of our perks are regression based. So, that will mean that the survivors of Tremor will just be taking their outs and Angels will be dying for the team. A very, very strong result on the Wraith. The kind of result that you love to be seeing for your teammates here. And that will mean the first set will go to Team Tremor. Congratulations to them. The next set shall be, I believe, Count Dracula himself. Stay tuned. back, ladies and gentlemen. A familiar sight indeed, as it has been recently on the Entities Campfire. It is Count Dracula on the Wrecker's Yard yet again. Team Silence Nervo playing to find any sort of survivor early on as we can. Angels patrol Note and Jaw, understanding how to play this killer very, very well. Going to be trying to stealth it out. Understanding that this killer is actually a lot stronger than I think a lot of people gave it credit for when it first came out. It has a lot. It's definitely been like power crept as people have found different things and tricks that you can do with it, or with him, I should say. So very, very interesting to see what people can do with this killer, as we are actually seeing first chase on Angels. Angels going to the corner of the map here, trying to navigate it as much as possible, preventing the first down as much, or first tag as long as possible. However, that is the first tag going on onto Angels. Angels running over to the 4 side of the map here. This is a strong loop here. However, we are actually successfully evading Nervo by running back through the 3 window, and that means we make it to this filler pallet. And Nervo a little bit ahead of himself there, unfortunately going to be missing that Hellfire, and that means that Angels will make it over the pallet here, playing the pallet very, very efficiently. And the first generator has already popped. 1 lunge, 2 lunges will mean a down is not gonna happen. Yeah, and that means Angels will make the pallet again. Possibly will make 3 Hellfire coming in, and that means Angels will be going on the ground for a relatively long chase. 2 generators pop for that very, very good chase from Angels. Pain Resonance coming through here, pallet breaking. And we want to find a progress generator here to get some Pop Goes the Weasel value as well as Eruption value. Shack is really probably their only highest progression. But we are seeing Jaw here. Jaw going to be taking chase over to the 9 side of the map here. 1 lunge, 2 lunges means no tag, unfortunately. Pre-dropping the pallet as we see another generator in the distance progressed. The survivors of Tremor have a lot of pressure right now as the early for the people play coming in, meaning that it looks like there shall be absolutely no tunnel out for Nervo. Not something you want to have on the Dracula. Dracula is a killer that just thrives on getting an early tunnel out, and if you can't have that, then Dracula really will struggle. Taking over to the corner side of the map here, we are seeing Note here. We were trying to mind game it, however, Note was just holding W. Nervo will get a tag for that and going to the bus. This is it's an okay bus. I don't like this bus in particular, to be honest with you. I know a lot of people might, but I particularly do not. And we are breaking the pallet here at 12 here, continuing chase onto Note here, going over to the 10 tile. Hellfire coming through. Perhaps we're trying to predict what side Note will be going. However, Note successfully guessing correctly as he will continue chase onto this 9 pallet, vaulting the window. Perhaps Nervo thought he was going to go for the pallet. However, that will not be happening as Shack pallet will be dropped. Hellfire needs to land true, but it just doesn't, unfortunately. Wolf form now going to come in to maybe make this chase last a little bit less time. 1 pounce, 2 pounces means a down onto Note. However, they are working Shack here, and the pickup does happen. I'm a little bit interested by this. Perhaps he wants to try to get a Pain Res just before the gen pops, and it will happen as well. So Pain Resonance on the Shack generator, as well as a Pop Goes the Weasel on the 3 generator. However, Shack will be popping even through Pain Resonance. Very, very well played from the survivor.